morning of the program Morning Flights on the Station of the Moment. Well, you can join us this morning on Facebook at Open Radio Abeokuta. Same for YouTube, Open Radio Abeokuta, Open Radio Abeokuta. If it's Instagram, it's OGBC 90.5 FM. And same for the X handle, OGBC 90.5 FM. On our website, openradio.ng. So we're live on these platforms. It's time to go into the full discussion this morning as we have our guest joining us right now is the regional editor of the Business Day newspaper. His name is Razak. I know. Razak, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Debo. Good morning, Papa. Good morning, our listeners.
Good
It's
morning.
another beautiful morning for us.
It's always a beautiful morning when we have you here. And we'll be taking up with one of the reports from the Punch newspaper today. And it's reporting the former governor of Kano State, Senator Ibrahim Jibril, saying that the federal and state government must address poverty and inequality and joblessness in Nigeria's economic development. The senator, who noted that socioeconomic conditions determine the well-being of the citizens, said it tells exactly how citizens fare in terms of income, safety, and security, jobs, access to health facilities, access to education, electricity, among others. Now, inflation in Nigeria is double digit. I learned it's been pegged on 28.5 thereabout, and the highest since 2005, I learned from what we read this morning. Now, we look at the impact of this and what the government is saying. Is it possible for the government to have this kind of impact when inflation is that high?
It might not be possible because inflation is all over the world. If you look at the indices being dished out by the IMF and the World Bank, that will tell you that it's all over the world where we have inflation. We only have it uh, more or harsher than the other. That is what we can actually look at. Then, if you are to consider inflation, the only issues that we have in Nigeria is that we don't have that financial buffers or fiscal buffers to cope with our inflation. And that is the reason why you can say that Nigeria, we are more suffered. We are more shocked by the negative impact of inflation across the world. And the reason is that Nigeria, it's a tax-based economy. What you and me are doing is that whenever we get our pay at the end of the month, the first thing the government will do upfront is they remove our tax.
That's right. And
if you go to markets, every market we have in this country, they have a way of paying tax. In fact, I remember that in Ogun State at some point they were paying lump sum, all the market women, and they go and collect the money from them. So everybody, whether you like it or not, that are working are paying tax to government. And when you pay taxes, and there's no way of bringing money back into that economy in terms of cash flow, then there's no sufficient saving for you to have more investment. And in that circumstance, there will be negative impact of inflation pinching more because there's no way you want to economy is not emotional, economy is not political. It is what you do, it is reality. And if you don't invest, you cannot, there's nothing you want to reap. If you don't plant, you can't reap. That is economy. So if you don't invest, there's nothing you want to reap in terms of profits. And that is the reason you see that virtually everything is being imported or smuggled into Nigeria, because our economy is tax-based, it's not production-based. If it's production-based, everybody will be engaged and we contribute to the GDP. And of course, if you contribute to GDP, you also contribute to the national income. So this is giving you the holistic, systematic approach to economy. But when you are not doing that, then you'll be the first to be disturbed by inflation, because everything that you eat, that you wear, that you do is imported. And in as much as where it is being imported, I'm talking about the state of origin where all those things are being imported and are affected, then you will be more affected because it's going to be the burden is shifted or transferred on you
To the consumers.
to the consumers, and we are the consumer. We
Even
are
at the
consumer
point of
nations.
entry into the country.
We are consumer nations. That is the reason you see that what is being imported is not even enough. They have to smuggle more into it. Today, rice. Look at how much they're selling rice. It is Christmas time. Rice is going to like 56,000 naira. Before we know it, it will even hit 60,000 naira. May God forbid. May God not
Forbid bad thing
for us. So that is telling you that we cannot. They said we are doing our own rice. Yes, we are doing our own rice, but at what price? Because we are not competitive. The rice we are producing locally is more expensive. It's not that polished. It is wrinkled with stones and all that. So, but the one that is polished being imported, you could see that is even cheaper compared to what we produce there. Why? Because internationally they are competitive. Where it's coming from, their rice is, but compared to what we are doing there, we need to really restructure our economy, not restructure the politics that they are talking about. Restructure the economy in such a way that it is based on production, in such a way that we systematically and economically are closing border against small good products. If what you are selling here is cheaper and is better, it is not cheap. It is not. If you have to even you have to doubt the standard and the quality of what you are eating. That's the reason people have to go and buy the one smuggled in, because they know that they will get the quality. It is cheaper, and of course, it is easily cooked. If you have to cook the other one, you need to add some vegetable oil into it for you to get that taste that the one that's. So we cannot buy that because it is too expensive and it's contributing to inflation. Government needs to do something to oil the machinery so that the economy will ease naturally and economical and
make unfair profits because of economic situation. Tinubu urges Nigerians. Understand? Now, against the backdrop of what you just said now, that things that even have been produced in other countries, Nigeria, sometimes this Nigerian factor will always crop in. President Bola Tinubu has urged Nigerians not to exploit the country's current economic situation for abnormal profit. The National Bureau of Statistics pegged the country's inflation rate at 28.2%, Nigeria's highest since August 2005. President Tinubu, in an interview, acknowledged the severe impact of some of his economic policies on Nigerians, urging the citizens not to take advantage of the situation to accrue unfair gains.
There won't be patriotism, and of course, people will have to behave as if we are in Banana Republic, because the people in power tells us that they are also very selfish in the way they do things, and of course, everybody wants to cash out at any point in time. Because if you look at how much money people that are controlling us, that are ruling us, spending lavishly, then people will want to. If I can't equate them, people will cash out on any situation we find ourselves in this country. But all the economic factors, all the economic indices, all the economic variables are with the government. People cannot ordinarily inflate the price of goods and services if government is not allowing that. I will tell you, they are allowing that fiscally, financially, and economically. Fiscally, because today, last year, Baba Tinubu was not sworn in at that time. Last year, the price of fuel per liter was still under 200 naira. When he was sworn in May 29, it was jacked up to 500. And that is telling you that it is over 200% increment. The same thing with the diesel. Diesel was about 600 naira before. Today it's about 1,000 naira. These are what people need to generate power, to power their industries, for them to produce anything. Last year, I give you an example of OGBC. How much did you spend to buy diesel last year to run this station? How much are you spending now? So diesel for everybody. Therefore, in fact, we need to even commit ourselves by not increasing the rates, advert rates in newspapers, televisions, and radios. Because what we spend today the price of a punch or business day every morning,
Page.
the whole paper is about 700, 650 naira, 700 naira, and we are selling it for what? For 200 naira. So the same thing here. The price of announcements, selling greetings, still remain the same thing. So because of just being considerate, as somebody who are professionals, we are trying to find a way out of it. But what do you think somebody who is producing biscuits will do? They will reduce the quality and quantity, and that is happening. The biscuit that we bought 200 naira, 220 naira last year is 50 naira now. So, and is that the same quality? No. Is that the same quantity? No. So that is telling you that you cannot just say people should not cash in on other people when you are not providing all those bases, all the fiscal, financial, economic factors that will make them reduce the prices of their goods and services. So it is. If you go on the road now and your tire, you got flat tire, you want to call a organizer. Before, if you are to get your tire, it's about 100 naira. Today, it's going to 500 naira. So that is telling you they are not cashing in on anybody. But how much are they buying diesel? How much are they buying petrol? So we need to consider that. Government need to be considering first and patriotic first before people now follow their footsteps. But if they are playing that role, they are playing that in Abuja and other government agencies, that I can buy a SUV for one person out of 109, out of 360, then are you telling me that I should not find a way of making money from my own side? Because when I know that these people are not helping us, so the body language of people in power shows they are extravagant, and people need to get money in order to, because everybody wants to show off. So that is why I want to appeal to the man that said people should be considerate, people should not inflate the prices. They should also check themselves by reducing their expenses at Aso Rock first before they are now telling people not to inflate the price of goods. I'm not supporting those that are doing that anyway, but I think we have to start. Charity, they say, begins at home. We have to start within those that are holding billions of naira and dollars before we now cascade down to somebody who is having 10 naira in his pocket.
Well, the reality of economic of business does not even allow for such appeal, because when the business environment is okay, and there is a price that most people are selling. If you inflate your own, you are shooting yourself in the leg.
That is it. That is it.
But if it is common to everybody that the price has gone up, you have come up for your business, then you have to get it from people.
It's shifted to the consumer. And that is what we are witnessing today. So you cannot even see want to buy rice, go to Katin now. You can't even see a 20 rice again for you to buy. And of course, last year you can still buy a scoop of rice for 100 naira. So that is telling us that economy is very, very harsh. And of course, we need to really work on that inflation rate. And how do we go about that? Is for the government to create they have to start small and a short and long term palliative. Not the palliative I'm talking about is that recapitalization of industry, giving them money so that they can improve and reinvest into the economy, and try to give MSMEs the right money for them to boost the economy, not the one you politically motivated. I'm talking about those the right people to be given, and the agriculturalists, the farmers in their places. They look at how they did Uncle Borowa money. It was messed up with corruption. That is not what I'm talking about. You need to, like CBN got it right initially by selecting 10 produce to finance. Part of that produce, rice is part of them, wheat part of them, poultry product part of them, vegetable part of them. So if that is done and they are channeling money into that, everybody in advanced country where all those in South Africa, for instance, to eat is not their problem. All those goods, all those countries to eat is not their problem. But in Nigeria, the first thing you think over is how do I eat this morning? So this is affecting us badly.
And the man who has not eaten, he also has to trek.
and
all the time when you mentioned how much we used to, power and fuel and generators. A lot of people have been asking us questions. Why are you guys broadcast this day. Sometimes you're on, sometimes you go off, you know. And it was just last week we held a meeting and we were informed, you know, that in 60 minutes, that's 1 hour,
1 hour, yes.
35,000 naira goes in diesel.
On this one. Yeah,
In 60
and if you are to work 24 hours,
24 hours, now,
if you are to
calculate
work
that.
24 hours,
Calculate that. And
that would be very huge.
someone else says, don't inflate, don't overprice your goods.
That's just it. So we are being considerate to do all these things.
Yes.
If you are doing the same thing, everybody, we are spending a lot of money to power our generator for us to come online, for us to come on. The refinery, they said it's going to work. So let that be fixed. Let's fix electricity because that's very important too.
Very important.
If you are getting electricity, it is cheaper for you to buy electricity from the government or from the disco. It is cheaper to what you use to generate. So why can't you ensure that even if you cannot get constantly, everybody should get at least,
you know.
So
Razak, just a follow-up to what you just said now. Let us take a look at the education sector now. I just got some information from the parents that at the end of each term, now parents are being told that they should go and check the result of their children, their awards on the internet because of the cost of producing paper to print out the results and all sorts. Now, informations are now being sent to the internet. Go to our school websites, this and that.
Results.
it's so unfortunate that I will tell you because we have a mother company in South Africa. We have business in South Africa. I want to tell you that for all the newsprint that we are using in Nigeria today, majority of it comes from South Africa. South Africa is self-sufficient in newsprint, in paper. In fact, in pulp and paper, they are the best. Meanwhile, they don't have these natural resources up to what we have in Nigeria. There's a Okuboku, it's moribund. There's our Iwoku paper mill, it's moribund. Jeba paper mill, it's moribund. All these paper mills are moribund. And we need paper, except we'll be doing everything online. And you cannot do everything online because some children are there that need to be writing in the paper. Because that's where we were taught.
That's right.
And of course, we still need paper for office use.
There are still areas
There's areas we cannot totally phase off
now,
paper.
we have a call online. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Dr.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Rasa.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much. My name remains Wole Owushi. I'm calling from Ilaro.
Welcome, sir.
The trio of you have brought up wonderful submission this morning, no doubt about that. But my concern is this. All we have been talking had to do with the government. Are they listening? Sometimes ago, I treated with a woman that they do on OTVC, they should be recorded and sent to the power that be the very quarters that they need it. This is my concern. What are you doing to see that you record this program and send it to Mr. President, send to Mr. God, send to the power that be? That's my concern this morning. I want you to react on it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. They want to listen to what we're saying. Because we know that some of these things that we do here in the newspaper and online, for which goes to the National Assembly, to State Assembly, to Okemoson, to Azofila. If they choose not to act on it, who are we to call them? Because and every governor, they have immunity, and nobody has any power to try them or to say anything that's untoward towards them.
Okay, let's take this call. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm calling from Mirakari. Follow up with the boss caller. I believe whether we need prayer, because when we to add prayer to it, my brother, since during the Jonathan regime, all these reports, even the Obasanjo, to take big Nigeria out of the problem, we have about 5 of them. But instead of the last government to continue to implement. He doesn't understand what they mean. And he do on his own. He set up about three, and they are giving the report, but they are not. They don't implement it. They don't implement. This president too. This president too. I don't expect him to continue to live the African land, the administration of the Nigerian land. I believe to be prudent. It's supposed to be prudent because I believe it's an economic something. It's part of those people that give us to let this level because Jonathan want to reduce it. They are the one going to the Ojota to go and campaign against the subsidy limiter. So whether now I'm saying whether to continue to the Christians, everybody want to continue to add to to pray that they should listen, they should continue looking at our side instead of that because they are surprised this money that the government the can say they cannot pretend that say the people should not capitalize on what capitalize on. I did not want them to run short or to pack out of Nigeria. They can't as long as the business companies are backing up. So it's needed of you to continue working that things that will bring the circle to the issue. You are now shifting the blame. We are not so better you have to eat for them to let them with God we have them to listen to us. That we think that will be the solution. Thank you.
Thank you sincerely. We appreciate.
Thank you very much. 0803 437 9453 0815 032 0226. These are the lines to call this morning to be part of.
If you look at what the Chartered Institute of Professional Printers said,
Okay.
they said every year Nigeria spent 3 trillion naira to import papers. Every year Nigeria spent 3 trillion naira to. If you are to put that if you are to put that aside with our budget, that is about 10% of our budget that we use. Nigeria, the old Nigeria budget that we use for papers. That is, and we can produce it. In fact, our own Iwokwi paper mills can supply the whole Nigeria. If you are to, because we have this is in abundance. The same thing with Jeba. If you have been to Jeba before, you know that we have all this. Go to Okuboku in Akwa Ibom. So, but we have to. In fact, what we spend locally to import things, and that's what is affecting us economically. Because all those things we are going to save a lot of costs. If you don't, let's assume we don't import paper again. 3 trillion is saved from paper importation. Let's assume we don't import fuel again. Look at how much trillions that would have been saved from that. Let's assume we don't import rice again. So I don't know why Nigeria, we are even importing toothpick. I saw one toothpick that I bought last time. It was they used bamboo to produce it. It was done in China. It was done in China. So everything is imported into the clothes we wear, except the adire, and the adire we are talking about. They are bringing a lot of shinko or Chinese into it. Thanks to Alake of Ibadan and other others fighting in that regard.
Hello, good morning.
As they call you and your guests. When you talk about our mineral resources all over Nigeria, in fact, anytime I listen to Nigeria Will Survive song, this lady listed all the mineral resources we have all over Nigeria, and we're here to tap it. I have a friend, though not a close friend, that is going from villages to villages looking for kaolin, selling to Chinese people. What we have here, they are selling it to Igbo. When I was at I went for export seminars. Cashew nuts. Do you know the people that are exporting it from Nigeria? Indians and Lebanese. They really make money from it before Nigerians, get into it. And of course, you said it all. Instead of what to be doing exporting, we are importing everything. In fact, I grew up to know that we have Texas industry at Inupeju and P. Now, Samoko is no more in book. They're not importing all those Tokubo freezers and all that things. Because if you don't
But I'm not go that way, I beg.
Okay. Okay.
Let us
You're
just
advertising. You have to pay.
It's a serious case. It's a serious case.
Okay, thank you.
I understand what she's trying
Yeah,
to say.
she's making an illustration.
Yeah.
Thank you very
It's a
much.
pity that what they used to even produce battery, lithium, is abundance in Nigeria. We have not even really tapped it. And we are still importing. In fact, that one alone can change our economy because lithium is one of the most expensive solid mineral in the whole world. And Nigeria, as it were, I want to doubt it if you have any country that having as many mineral resources that we have as Nigeria. I want to doubt it because we have almost everything that we can think of. Almost everything, even more, the one that you've seen that they have reported. They just discovered that lithium. Yes. There are so many others that we have in Nigeria in abundance. So we need to go and do something. Okay. Today, I was in Joburg where they are producing a set of tire in that place. In fact, that very tire used to be here. In fact, we growing up Isalake, growing up Oketoku, where you'll be perceiving the scent of new tires. Those tires used to be here. In fact, one of us even established it here. I'm talking about Dollar Tire. Baba Ijebu did it. Ojutola. They were the one that actually did it. And because we have latex, we have rubber plantation in Akode. We have rubber plantation even in Ikene. These are moribund today. We have to go and import tire. If you have to buy that tire today, is about 120,000 per tire. Per unit. The one that we import it from China, and today is about 50,000. The one we import from China. So can't we go back and be producing? Let's bring back all these companies so that we have battery that been produced in Nigeria, tire produced in Nigeria. All those things were very cheap at that time. But today, if you want to buy tire to your car, you know how much money you spend. You spend.
Just a minute. Agbara Aton Lusada Road ready in 9 months. And I know that people, who will be flying this road will be at least be excited about this. Ogun State Governor Babalola has assured that Agbara Aton Lusada Road, currently under construction, will be completed in the next. Governor Babalola made this nota during the 31st edition of Igomode Day celebration on Saturday. He also assured that the Otaidi Road, as well as other township roads in the local government, into by his administration. The governor noted that the completion of the Abrado Sada Road, among others in the axis, is to ensure that Ota continues to occupy its pride of place in the country. So we'll talk about that pride of place Ota has and how this road will be useful for the good people of Ogun State. Stay with us. Morning flight on OGBC 90.5 FM. Our time is fast, but we just have to touch on this before we go. His Excellency the Governor, Prince Babalola, says Agbara Aton Lusada Road ready in 9 months. And he says that it's to preserve that very vantage position that Ota occupies in the country.
I think we have to commend the Babalola administration in Ogun State for their ingenuity, as well as what they call PPP, that is public-private partnership. Because I know that quite a number of these investors, Agbara is the largest investment hub in Nigeria. Because of the fact that they are partnering with the government, they are able to do what they are doing, and they were able to deliver it by 9 months, as said by Mr. Governor. If you pass through that place now, they are really working in their asses. And that is telling you that the partnership That is because government cannot do everything. Of course, today, for government that we are talking about, that's why we are saying that we need to be prudent. There's no much money in the cover again. If you have to consider the obligations of government,
Yes.
what they pay, like for instance, as of the government of the of Amosun, we spend about 9 billion every month.
Mm.
So now look at the time Amosun has left and the time this government coming, will have increased, no doubt. If government they are getting a flat rate from FAC every month, that is hovering between 3 to 5 billion naira. How do you want to marry the two? How do you want to just oppose that? So they need to use their ingenuity to get more money so that they can finance capital projects. And part of what they are doing is Aton Lusada Agbara Road. This is very important. If you have to consider that this is a federal road, it's a Badagry Sokoto Express road, but federal government is not direction, despite the fact that they are collecting the whole taxes, because the only one we get as taxes from that is payee. All those company taxes are federal government taxes. All those excise duties, because they pay excise duties, all those companies they pay to the customs. They are federal government revenue. Despite the fact that they are the one collecting the larger percentage of the revenue from Agbara, they left the road for state government to construct. And what can they do? Is for them to partner the investors so that they can do the road, and that's what they are doing. We have to commend them for that. The same thing with the Kajola dry port. If you look at Kajola now, they brought in some investors who they are partnering to finance it, and majority of these projects, even doing is in some cases they do build, operate, and transfer. In some cases, they have what we call counterpart funding between the government and the investors. So for which to make everything humanly possible and be delivered at the time they have set aside for the completion of the we need for once commend this government for what they are doing, and we can only ask them to do more in that regard by partnering investors so they can to do more projects. In fact, the other road they are talking about, that is very important because it is international road. The Benin Republic, Idiroko, is an international, because that road connects Nigeria to Benin
Republic. Yes.
So all those assets, they are very viable assets economically. What the government is doing to ensure that the road is constructed and we are getting more money from that assets, and it's commendable in all ramifications.
Even the governor touched on the Light Up Ogun State initiative, that or the other outer access, owing to the fact that we have a lot of industrial clusters in that area, that they will be the first set of beneficiaries.
That is what we are saying, that they need to ensure that our industries are competitive in terms of what they are producing and of their operations. If government is trying to give them light in the access, that tells you that they're going to reduce what they spend on diesel to power their gens for their company. That tells you that they're going to reduce what they are getting or spending in terms of getting the gas to power. So if government can do that, it will reduce their cost of production. And if that is reduced, then you don't need to tell them that they don't need to increase the prices of food, of goods and services. If you are giving all it takes for them to reduce their cost, they also reduce their cost.
I have somebody in the private sector that says that if there is light, they operate 10 machines at a go. But whenever they are on diesel, they only operate 2. So the cost of production at that particular time and the consumption of diesel on that particular engine takes a lot. Well, I wish we could continue this conversation, but time is not our friend.
Our time is fast spent
That's
this
right.
morning.
Really,
We would
it's
like
really
to
fast.
appreciate you all for joining us this morning in the discussion on Morning Flight. A very big thank you to Chris Obu from the newsroom and BC Musori. Our Sita Weso is here with us in the studio as Samuel Adeneye. As Mrs. Shudipo produced today. I'm very to our guest this morning, the regional editor of the Business Day newspaper.
I'm even acting as editor now.
Acting
News editor.
Okay,
Acting news editor. Wow.
Okay.
That's another elevation.
Another
Yeah,
friend
that's-
to your
that's-
account.
that's-
Congratulations
That's
on that.
periodically.
So we appreciate you for coming.
It's a pleasure to
Thank
be
you
here.
very much. Debo Adeyinka is my name. Have a blessed day.
My name is Temitope Babalola. Please do have a beautiful morning.